welcome to this brief afternoon edition of Black Spring. And we have just a little bit of logistics and I guess tactical failures happening. And the mainstream media has started to opine or give you tales of tales of failure. So we'll go with that. More coming right up. Just- But tail much. And thank you so much. You guys are most generous. I'm trying to maintain things around here. So, yes, just trying to maintain some things around here, but I will keep going here. And so, here, the topic is about the general perna, is what I'm speaking about on this. Okay. So, there is a liner, and I'll get you guys in and out of this one. But this was written, there's a liner out there by the Inquirer. Now, it's pretty much, you would think that you were reading some type of wartime story, the way they've laced this thing and the rhetoric that's behind it. I could not resist. I just had to share it with you guys. So I'm going to put the link out there. I'm going to put the actual, it's not the link, but it's the storyline. And, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you my analysis on this thing. Okay. So the gist of this thing is that, and it's all going into this whole great reset, America, just totally deconstructing our actual institutions and our whole way of life and our values, or what we thought were our values. Okay. So wherever you are on that. But in this report, you got more rhetoric and more propaganda. But it looks to me that this particular article was framed up even using Cassandra like warnings. Now, Cassandra was a Trojan priestess, and she was actually, she was a Trojan priestess, and she's being, she was the warner of men, or the helper of men. So, General Perna is actually, he is being noble by saying, "Oh, put all the blame on me for this logistical nightmare and this big mess on the distribution and da 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 da." So here again, this is all apropos. I mean, they're bringing everything full circle for this entire year. Everything is the year of the woman. The woman save us all. Um, I'm inadequate. But he's just a figure. He was just a figurehead, apparently, on this thing. So he's assuming the blame. He's only human, and it's perfect. It's the perfect rhetoric for the feminist, if you will, or for those that that get into the whole, that are all about the Marxist culture that's been celebrated these days. So the whole thing is laced. It opens up. It's fully framed. Thank you so much, as Zoom Alice. Thank you so much for coming in. So for one, I'm going to give you my main points on this. So I think what they're doing is they're basically saying that the American government, they're advocating for more government overreach. I'm saying I think this could be very much a warning. So whether the Cassandra like warning failed General Perna, maybe we the people might benefit and benefit from a warning that we might be getting right now. So it looks like they're advocating more for government reach on the distribution and touting, of course, that the US healthcare system is garbage and basically more capitalism smears. They opine, the rhetoric here talks about how the hospitals and the lobbyists and all these people, created their own system for distribution and and as to who was going to get it, they even created their own algorithms. And this whole arc, it was actually it was comical. And the very ending is a last appeal. It's like the American people are begging for the mocktail. It's absolutely staggering. You have to read it for yourself. Just wanted to extract, or I just wanted to give you my assertions on it. But I think that it's actually, this is, what is it, the Hegelian dialect, in which, you got the problem, solution, you got it all, it's all packaged, just wrapped up in a nice little bow. Everything that's been predicted, everything that was set up and predicted is happening. So it's looking like, oh, we're so failed and it's doomsday, and oh, you need your government, the only one that can fix this. Or second part of this is, this could be another opportunity, because they've talked about how the CV has set us up for opportunities. And I'm thinking that this could be more of a global health system, it might be what they're trying to advocate for, because of course America's systems are so failed, and we've had the Pope calling throughout the entire year about how states were not equipped to handle, human conditions and things that would come about in this world. It's just all stacking right up to their whole narrative. It's stacking up. I mean, I can only say, I can't say it another way, which you guys might be able to. But of course, but all the smearing that they do on capitalism, and in the meantime, they need capitalism in order to make their visions and their anointed visions and their interests come true. So I'm saying this is all stacking up the way they want it to. And I think because so many people have been lulled to sleep, I'm not saying you guys, not saying everyone, but there's so many people have been lulled to sleep. I think that people are very much ripe for the taking, because they've got the narrative, they created the narrative, they created the problem, and they made it come true. And they've got people rolling over, and it's really dark. But for them to have, they made this general the face of this thing, and now he's already kowtowing out. Oh, I'll take the blame. It's a disaster. There's all kinds of, you can find articles all over the internet about the failure. And of course, you get your all occasion devil DT. He gets blamed because distribution was a failure, because that administration didn't tell us where it needed to go, and what states needed to get it, and the priority, and da 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 da. And all these women have warned, done these Cassandra-like warnings. I mean, 1984. Shout out to the Lockhart perspective if you're out there. So we're fine. It's just, this whole wartime rhetoric and this general and this Cassandra reference. And yeah, so it's very much stacking up to what I think we've seen historically before, in which, they might call something a new world, but it's actually the old one. It's just opportunity to seize or present the double speak as your new alternative. So I'm thinking you guys have to read this thing, and I might even read the last line for you, but it's so thick with rhetoric, and so thick with propaganda, but it's all UN talking points, it's all sustainability. It's everything that this channel it's almost everything that we've been dealing with on this channel for almost a year, full circle. In fact, that was one of my first of my post. It was on the UN agenda, and I'm just saying, like, this has happened. This has been a warp speed sustainability project, is what I believe. And I'm going to read a few comments here in just a second. And so yes, so basically, I've read some other accounts in which you had other doctors saying that oh, the other issue was that some of the hospitals or the places in which these mocktails were stored, the states or the cities didn't have the proper place, or these mocktails have been stored there so long that that's an issue. So I'm just kind of randomly pulling them out. I'm not going through the entire article with you, but yeah, some of the dosages, how they were shipped, and where they ended up sitting around, I guess, maybe in some warehouse at the wrong temperature, maybe. It does sound like a debacle or a kerfuffle. It sounds like a mess. But there again, was it designed to be? Was it really designed to be successful? I think it was primed, or I say shellacked. I think they shellacked it in many ways. They needed it to fail. They needed to do one thing, but they also needed to fail. They needed to be successful, and they needed to fail at the same time. And to me, that's very apropos of everything else. You need your BS to be full to work, but at the same time, it needs to be just messed up enough to, oh man, I'm sorry. Am I late? Did I miss that? Oh, we'll just have to reschedule the next time, or geez, next year, huh? We'll see you next year, kids. But yeah, and honestly, I wanted to come to you guys in a non non-studio form, but whatever. I still think I'm getting the point out, at least. So what I'm going to do is I will actually share. I think I did share that, or at least I put it in the stream for you guys, so you guys can read it. It's very entertaining, but it's not. It brings out the whole. Everything it's looping you back into their sustainability goals. And guess whose sustainability goals those are? Guess where the sustainability goals originated from? The UN agenda. So yeah, so I'm going to pull it up just for a second here. I said I wasn't going to do it, but you've got the basis of what this is covering. But you can find tons of articles. Like, this is Philadelphia Inquirer. This is not my vetted source, but I think it's interesting to see what they're putting out there, and how their propaganda arms are constantly pumping propaganda out there. And of course, Operation Warp Speed is right now, it's questionable. It's they're probably going to mark it down as a failure, right? Chaos. And then of course it talks about the potential for chaos being high, and how the president subject Biden is going to name a new surgeon general next week. I guess that's his next, I guess his next announcement, or on his top of the list. I guess that'll be right after climate change. And so yeah, so this is but I'm just thinking, I think this is another warning. It's not going to be Cassandra like. I don't purport or pretend to have any Cassandra like qualities, but I'm just thinking that there's plenty of warnings. There's warnings everywhere, and they don't have to come from a Trojan priestess, or it doesn't have to. I'm not prophetic by any stretch, but I'm also not elite. So I'm saying that I think this could be, they could end up trying to, we've seen from the We Forum the whole idea of the global governance. That's another call. So if what more do you need to prove that maybe the United States needs to be under global governance? Because look what happened with the CV mocktail. It was a disaster. They can't even handle. We told you these states and their sovereignty and their capitalism was no good. We need global governance, health governance. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I have yet to share the stream out. I just want to say hello to everybody in the stream, and I dove in really quickly because I think sometimes I have a little bit of momentum on things when I see them, and I need to kind of get them out as soon as I can. So, Old Head Deuce, how are you? Thanks so much for coming in. Azum Alice, you are right on the dime. Thanks so much for coming in. Angela Reed, thank you guys so much. I am going to read some of your comments. This is not a formal stream, is what I was trying to maintain. But I just thought that this article, and then many of the other ones had the same. It's the same frame, the same framing, the same rhetoric that it's been laced with. But for my final trick, I'm going to read the very last paragraph in here. And it's not funny because we're talking about people's lives here. But it's really, but for people that are not paying attention, I don't know if they're falling apart if they read these things. Does anybody actually read this stuff? Are they falling apart? Are they begging for this thing? And I want to thank the Lockhart perspective wherever she is in the world right now. And we did a review on Utopia. So I'm thinking maybe I need to watch Utopia again, because the desperation and human dignity, all these things are, it's a vulnerability. So I'm going to just pull this up really quickly and just give you guys the final give you guys the end of this rhetoric, okay? So I want to try to pick the best place, because I gave you all the bad news, right? I gave you all the bad news, and all from the shipping and the different, from FedEx to UPS, and this company didn't want to do this or participate in the warp speed program, and yeah. So I'll start after that. It's not going to be long. So according to this, the mocktail, which was rolled out last week, will be packaged by the quote pharmaceutical service providers, Catalent in Bloomington. This is just more on the logistics, and then sent to McKesson, a large pharmaceutical logistics and distribution outfit. It has offices in such places as Memphis, Tennessee, Louisville, or Louisville, as they like to say, and they will correct you on that, Louisville, which are near air hubs for FedEx and UPS, which will ship them out. And they said, is your head spinning yet? So you guys, is your head spinning yet? So looking forward, basic questions remain for 2021. How will essential workers at some risk, transit workers, teachers, grocery store employees, know when it's their turn? And will it matter which city you work in? What about people with chronic illness and then everyone else? And then who administers the mocktail? Doctors or the local drugstore? Combine this vision of disorder with the nation's high death toll, and it's not surprising that there's an intense jockeying and lobbying by schools, unions, and even people with different types of pre-existing diseases over who should get the mocktail first, second, and third. It's hard to quote, wait your turn, in quote, in a country where there are 200,000 new cases and as many as 2,000 new daily CV-19 deaths. A tragic per capita order of magnitude higher than in many other developed countries. So kudos and thanks to the science and the scientists who made the mocktail in record time. I'll eagerly hold out my arm so I can see the family and friends and colleagues I've missed all these months. If I can figure out when I'm eligible and where to go get it. Are you guys ready? Are you guys climbing the walls yet? All right, guys, I appreciate you guys for humoring me on that. Let me read some comments here. Hi, Kathy Latour. I really appreciate it. So yeah, I'm just kind of winging it, or I don't know. I don't like to wing it too much, but it's just. I mean, honestly, I don't need to read like 500 of those things to realize what they're doing. They're saying epic failure, this failure, 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 failure. Who has the answer? Who has the answer? And yeah, it's basically it's saying all of our systems failed. All of them. So we need who has the answer. So I'm going to read some comments here. All right. Anybody with stripes around here? Anybody with stripes around here? Apparently not. So let me read a couple comments here. And I have R. Jones said, so I read today that people of reproductive age should use birth control for at least 28 days after receiving each mocktail due to unknown risk. That's interesting. Yeah, but I have not heard very much. I don't know what the stats are on expectant mothers at this point on what they're actually doing. In fact, I they actually haven't talked about that quite a bit, but there is a plan, I would imagine. Of course, they didn't leave them out. All right. So thank you so much. And Old Head Deuce, thank you so much for coming in. And I want to read some comments from all of you. So just give me just a second here and I'll get it done. And we had Proverb Nation. Thank you so much for coming in. I almost missed you up there. I saw you, but I missed you. Let's see. Who else do we have? We have Old Head Deuce. How are you, Old Head? And Angela Reed. Angela Reed, you are officially striped. Stripe where available. You know what to do. I have the best stripes on the internet. On the 2020 internet. Let's see. Old Head Deuce. I'm just trying to catch up here. So we have Awesome Alice. I think I'm getting that right. And she said, yep, I got a magazine today from a church. And she also says it has to do with Karl Marx and communism. And Awesome Alice also says the Great Reset has to do with all world leaders coming together and make one world government. There you go, Awesome Alice. You're not missing a beat there. But they're going to deny it. They'll say, you're a conspiracy theorist, and it's futile at this point. Old Head says, yo, rumor that that nurse that fainted died. I did not look it up yet. I heard that someplace too, Old Head. I did, and I didn't want to, and I haven't looked it up myself, but that's a rough spot to be in. And Angela Reed said, they create the problem and solution. They can shove it up there. Woohoo! Angela is taking no prisoners around here. Get it right, people. Get it right. Opportunity to disaster. Was it Rahm Emanuel that said, I'm paraphrasing because you never let a crisis go to waste. Never. But so you have people that are just needy, and I almost want to go out of character and just like, gosh, how needy can you be? Like, how do you survive? How do you deal with yourself every day? How do you live life every day if you're this needy all of the time? And I said this earlier, at least on an earlier stream, that I find that many people they're just, I don't know. I'm so disappointed with something that they just have to go out and start blaming everybody else. They don't look within. It's you, and you did this, and you did that, and because of this, and you're making my life miserable. And Angela Reed said, I will check it out, Old Head. And that's an excellent point. Awesome, Alice. You said they've been setting this up since the Cold War. Oops. Okay. So I'm going to keep reading this just a little bit. And Angela Reed, it says the Great Reset into the beast system. Yeah, Australia is full on. They've taken, they're full on creating everything. They're full speed ahead. So I think this whole there was a race here. There was an actual race, and we'll see. We'll see where everybody winds up. I would just wish that people are not surprised where they wind up. That's all I'm saying. And Old Head says, out of tricks, out of loopholes, out of explanations. And Awesome Alice says, as Hitler said, to tell a lie over and over till they believe it. All this is distraction, so we do pay attention to what they are really doing. We don't pay attention to what they're really doing. I think I got that right. If I didn't, you please correct me. Awesome Alice. And she says, when Trump said we are in a state of emergency, we were put under FEMA control. Well, I guess that's the same thing as this. You guys are probably tired of me doing this little number, but I'm going to do it anyway.
This matters going forward. We're in a live exercise here to get this right.
So yeah, I seem to that's on full loop. I think that can be a clip for like at least 12 months, at least 12 months. And what did you say? You said the bells. Yeah, I saw that. I'm not sure what's happening with her, that nurse that was on that video, but I think she's probably being attacked. Hello. Oh, John H. Roberts is here. How are you? He says pregnancy is determined XX means not tested on any pregnant woman. That's interesting. I really appreciate you guys for coming in, and I appreciate not buffering right about now. And then R. Jones says the emperor has no clothes. Time to call him out. And yeah, so I'm gonna take an opportunity right now to thank our sponsors, and I'll be right back. Guys, thank you so much for coming in. And yes, this was an 11th hour idea, but please, if you will check out this article, or and maybe you've had enough, maybe you don't need the doggy bag, but I'll put it out there anyway. And you guys have a great rest of the day. Let's see, I'm gonna read your comment here. Thanks so much, guys, for all that you do and for coming in for this flash. This is clearly a flash. Alice said, and you had it right. I had a typo. I went, don't, lol. But you're awake. I can see, looking at the old war times to see what actually is the same on the points we are dealing with right now. Yeah, it's just, it's the 1984. Like I said, Lockhart perspective. We did watch that. We actually did a review on the 1984, and it's very Orwellian, to say the least. what's going on here. So who knows? They'll put anybody on the front of this situation, and then you'll start to, as you're peeling the onion back, you start to get to the real agenda. And fortunately, there's only so many people that are going to see it. So I really appreciate you guys so much for all that you do. And let me make this announcement once again that we are streaming on Twitch as well as we're on Periscope until the 31st of March. And then they're going to be trying to send me over to Twitter, which I'm not going to do. But so book your local channel availability somewhere between the tubes, YouTube or Twitch. And then also if you can deal with podcasts, or if you even enjoyed listening to podcasts, those options are available. At least three of those are already active. So the Google is available, the Anchor is available, and the Spotify is available. But the other two are the other three are still getting revved up. So you'll be able to catch full podcasts there. And then I might even add some extra things on podcast, and even over on Patreon, I'm able to put some things up there that would probably get ripped down here or not even make it. So we'll see. Oh, R. Jones said watched much of Utopia this past weekend. Disturbing, too real. And hi, paralysis by analysis. So yeah, but yeah, there's something else that's coming out. There's so many movies that are coming out. I haven't seen Songbird. I think that's another one. Is that the name of it, Songbird? But I need to catch that one. And yeah, but I just wanted you guys to catch this article and just see the. So you guys, I mean, it's rhetoric. It's also it's there's a lot of fear in there, and people you're left unresolved. They write something like that as if people are begging. And they even mentioned that people had driven 40 miles in some cases in order to get this thing. So I'm just thinking that I'm wondering if there's something already in place, if there's some kind of global transfer that they're getting ready to do in terms of managing this thing. And that's scarier than people here doing it. That possibility is even scarier. And it's yeah, these are definitely dangerous times and dark times. So all I can say to you guys, keep the faith and self-preserve and try to be prepared wherever available. And so we're going to get out of here. And I thank you guys so much for all that you do. And for those of you that came in, if you didn't get a chance to hit the like button or the unlike button, and you didn't get a chance to share it out, then you still have an opportunity to do that, as well as making sure that you're still subscribed to the channel. That is our best defense, our frontline defense in these war times. Um, in these war times, we have to, yeah, we have to make sure that we're still subscribed. And yeah, so I just think that of course, there's tons of things going on. Next week, I think the 6th is a big deal. I kind of went into some of that stuff earlier, but that was more legalese and more constitutionally um, framed perspectives that I did earlier today. For those that say, oh, there's not this, there's not that. Well, I don't know. Um, yeah, I really don't know what bearing it's going to end up having at the end of the day, or if the deck's already stacked, or as they say, the fix is in. If the fix is in, then it's in. John H. Roberts, it's the electoral college. They're meeting in DC on the 6th to certify, or well, they have to deal with the challenged. Mike Pence is the president of the Senate, so he has to deal with the certificates of the votes and including the ones from either battlegrounds or swing states. He has to deal with those to, I mean, he has some latitude, but he's already being sued by the GOP. Um, so we'll see. You know, it's just yeah, get your popcorn, I guess. And yeah, and check it out. But my stream earlier, I covered it on the what do I want to say, a morning edition I did. I covered it on that. And but there is an actual schedule. There's actually an electoral college schedule for their processes. And there's, you know, we only get typically, if we don't dig around, we only get what the mainstream produces. Um, we only get we only get what they produce. Okay. So yeah, I think a lot of people are planning on, I'm seeing that all over social media. They're planning to go to DC on the 6th. So the Congress counts the electoral votes in short. But there is an actual schedule, and I had it, but I had it earlier. But I'm sure you can find, you know, but it's not giving a whole lot of deets, or that's what I should call details, but that's what they're doing. All right, guys. So once again, thanks for humoring me on the where in the world is my mocktail. And yeah, read that article for yourself. And I don't know. It's so doom and gloom. You know, it's not a surprise. All right, guys. Well, have a great rest of your Tuesday. And oh, 1 second here. I got a word from Awesome Alice. She says they shut down the hotel in DC. Wow, I think that's gonna be a powder keg. Um, yeah. So I thank you guys so much. And Awesome Alice, you had awesome, awesome engagement in the chat room. You guys are the best. So I just want to give a shout out to everybody, and then I will wrap this one up. Thank you so much, John H. Roberts, and you have a great evening. Awesome Alice. Old Head Deuce, thank you so much for coming out and supporting the channel. Paralysis by Analysis, thank you so much for coming out and for all that you do to support the channel. R. Jones, Never a Hair Out of Place, and Angela Reed, thank you so much. And Steve Willis, thank you so much for coming out and supporting. And it looks like that's going to wrap us up. And I'm going to be saying so long, a Proverb Nation. And thank you guys so much once again. I'll see you guys on the next live stream in the comment section, or who knows, a moonlight stream. Have a great rest of your Tuesday.